do you know what's so interesting? You just like that light bulb just like it just like lit up the whole room for me because like friendships are weird, man. They can be so weird. They're such an intricate web because I mean, again, different perspective from the mom, but you may have experienced with or know people who have experienced this, that as soon as you have kids, or if you're the first one in your friend group to have a kid or get married, what changes? How many women say they lost all their friends?
Or I'll turn that one around. Be the only woman in your friend group who doesn't have
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah, totally.
right? Where I mean, I
See?
have phenomenal friends where I go to the zoo and I go to Heritage Park and
Yeah, you
like,
get to do all the things and
get to
live
do-
through us and not take the kids home to put to bed or feed.
I really do have the best life, best of all worlds. Welcome to the Ritual Pantry. I'm Heather.
And I'm Steph.
And today we're going to be discussing friendship and what that means in our lives and the different levels of friendships that we have.
This is a killer topic. I'm actually super excited about this.
I love friends.
I love you. You're my friend.
You're the best.
Yeah. I was totally thinking about this like so much. And because I have kids, I get to see that side of friendship too. So there's so many layers, aspects to friendship.
God, it's the best.
Yeah.
And every relationship serves a different purpose.
Like, absolutely.
Just before we started the show, I was messaging with a friend of mine who we haven't seen each other in a year and a half, and I'm going to go have lunch with her and her husband in April. Yeah, we have to plan that far ahead because that's life in the busy world, right? Like and then we have friendships that we see at least once a week when I'm home, and other friends that we don't see for years, or others that live across the sea and get together over Zoom. And
yeah. And so what's it like when you are going to go see this friend? Like, is it like awkward? You're like, oh, I haven't seen you forever. Is it weird? Or do you just pick up and you flow?
no, with these guys, I met them through one of the courses I did. So we have that deeper connection where it's not just surface level, like, oh, how's the weather? Oh, that's great. Oh, yeah. How are the kids? It's a little bit more in depth. So we always just pick up exactly where we left off. And the beautiful part is they're Sri Lankan. So they always do like this beautiful Sri Lankan meal. So
Oh, they're going to cook for you?
yeah.
You're not like going out for lunch.
No.
That's a great friend. That's a really great friend that can cook for you.
And they always put on like such an amazing spread, and it's always so delicious. I'm really looking forward to.
I'm into making new friends. I could come as a
They
tag
would love
along.
you, actually. they're so loving and warm, and then this morning I was up super early, and my girlfriend.
That's a lie. You weren't up super early. You just didn't go to bed.
Okay, well, coming up nights is a little hard sometimes. Okay.
We keep it real between friends.
So my girlfriend over in Croatia, she's up. So I sent her a message because she's been on my mind all week. And I'm like, hey, girl, haven't heard from you in a while. It's just, you've been on my mind. Let's catch up. So we have a call on Friday. So we're just going to get on WhatsApp and just have a little video call.
And chitty chat chat.
Chitty chat chat. You got it.
Nice. That's awesome. So that's really cool. I love it when you can have like friends that you can honestly just pick up and the conversation is not, surface level. But we have those friends where, I don't know, would we call them friends? I mean, they're not friends, but the investment of time is different. The investment of...
Well, we have different levels of friendship, right? Like if we look at my friends from work, I never see them outside of work.
Yeah.
But they're still... Like I just had someone come back from Japan, and him and his wife are doing runs over there.
Like marathons?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So they both did marathons, 2 separate ones. And I saw him in the hallway, and of course, some nights, and he's like, I have something for you. So he brought me something back from Japan. So
that's cool.
And I do. I consider him a friend, but I've never seen him outside of work.
Right. Yeah.
I know his kid, like what his kids are up to and his wife and what she does. And like I sent him a text when I knew that it was her run. And I'm like, go, girl, go. Like, you got this. And
Yeah. Well, that's really important that you say that because it is true. Because even like, obviously, a boatload of people work in their lives and work with other people. And it's always funny because you always have people at work that you gravitate towards, and they're like your work friends. Those are your people.
Mhm.
But then you're right. You really don't see them outside of work. But you still know each other really well, which is that's fun and interesting because I feel like I've had people in my life that I've worked with, pardon me, that's the coffee, um, that y I know better at work as a friend than the people who I know outside of work.
Well, and especially with my situation, because I work away, right? So I spend 50% of my life in camp. So we work together, we eat together,
Yeah.
we're in the same areas. Like we see each other in the morning, we see each other after work, we see each other in the gym when I choose to go to the gym.
Yes.
So the people I work with, they have become my family. Like it's a
Mhm.
second family. It's different, but I still hold them very near and dear in my heart.
Well, and especially when you have to spend holidays and stuff up there, like, you were there for Christmas,
I was there for Christmas this
and
year.
I think you're gonna be there, like,
For
the next several by the sounds of your schedule, so, like,
Yeah,
yeah, that those people do become your family because they have to.
and we do. We celebrate wins and it's great. But the funny thing is when first started mentioning that we're doing this podcast, I don't show this side of the work that I've done or the
Mhm.
holistic nutrition side or
Yeah.
so it's unfolding those different aspects that I typically don't share with them.
Totally. Yeah, I can 100% relate to that. There's so many people that I know, and they're not necessarily friends, but they're very good acquaintances or even, like, my kids' teachers. They literally have no idea what I do for a living until they show up at a birthday party or something, and they're like, "What? You're a spaghetti tree chef?" And I'm like, "What's up?" It's so funny because it's, as I guess as more than base level friends or acquaintances, yeah, you kinda tell people sometimes, and it depends where your evolution goes, right? Because you talk about, like, so many different things. But then, you know, with they're not unfriends, that's a mean word, they're just not they're acquaintances. You just don't tell things to as much.
Yeah, but there's also different, not purpose friends, but like you have your friends that you call when you need to get something off your chest. Or if
True.
it's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to a concert. Like you have your list of people who you're going to go with because they're going to be a good time.
Totally.
And then you have the people who you're like, hey, I'm going to be moving. Can you come help me unpack my stuff?
There's pizza and there's beer.
No,
You know the pizza who are gonna show up for pizza and beer.
no, no, no. At this point in their lives,
We're gonna have kombucha?
no, you hire a moving truck.
Yeah.
You don't ask your friends to come and help you move
That's
anymore.
facts. That's facts. Yeah. So I'm moving. We're getting a moving truck. You want to eat pizza, beer, and watch them?
That's more like it.
Yeah, that's more accurate.
Free housewarming.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So it is interesting, and I feel like I'm being offered a totally different perspective now with my kiddos, is because I'm always, and I feel like I've always been this way, but I don't know that I have. I was kind of actually yesterday thinking like back to when I was younger. What was I like with friends? Was it about quality or was it about quantity? And I think that there's always a shift, right? And I can see it in the different ages of the kids. So, um, Nova right now is moving towards quality. But she's still, you can tell by the way she talks, has that desire for quantity. But she doesn't actually want to be with people, which is interesting.
Hey, some days I don't want to be with people either. Some days I just want to hang
Yeah.
out with my dog, which is a totally other different kind of friendship.
Yeah,
And man's best
right?
friend.
Yeah.
Although,
It
right.
and so it's interesting when I think about that because what? It's the and obviously this absolutely changes with age, but what is the value that we put on friendship through the ages? And like so Jasper, well both kids have their birthday parties coming up this month. And so Jasper, he's got like the maximum amount of kids that he could possibly invite to his birthday. And I mean, like, I think that that's the 7, 8-year-old thing to do. And it's also, I think, for him about inclusion, which, because some of the kids that he's invited, I wouldn't say they're not friends. They're all school friends, right?
Kind of like work friends.
Yeah, exactly. They're the school friends, and so that's the obviously the natural place that he would get people to come to his birthday. And um, so it's quantitative right now. And even when things go sideways with a friend, they're so much more willing to like forgive and be like, it'll be okay. And so it's been interesting setting up those boundaries
I was just like,
with them so that they can uh, discover quality. Whereas Nova, for her birthday party, this is 2 years now, and this is also what Phoenix does, it's about quality, 100%. She, last year, invited my niece and one other friend. This year, it's just my niece. And every time I'm like, are you sure you maybe don't want like one more, two more? She's like, no. I'm like, okie dokie.
I mean, your niece is pretty cool, so.
I know, right? Right. So it's funny that and it's hard for me to wrap my head around, and again because I'm thinking it from the adult perspective.
Well, have you seen those Instagram reels where it's two ladies in a parking lot and the lady's like, the caption is like, if adults met friends as kids, and it's like, hey, nice shoes.
Thank you. I love
And
my
the
shoes.
other lady's like, yeah, nice jacket. And they're like, hey, you want to
Let's
be
be
friends?
friends.
And they're like running the store together and they're like best friends. And that's what kids are, right? Like,
Yeah.
they just want to have all those experiences. But as time progresses, it's almost like we get very choosy on who we want to have those quality relationships with.
Yeah.
And the quantity doesn't matter so much.
Yeah.
If you think back to like my friend group when I was 20,
Done. Downloaded.
download it, right? Like it's much different than how it looks now. But it was like that was
But you still have some of the same friends.
oh, I do, and I cherish. I cherish the people. I love people. Like I generally do. I have a genuine love for people. But over time, our lives has just kind of drifted apart, and there's people who I haven't seen in 20 years. Yes, I'm that old. But if I saw them today, we could still catch up
Right.
and still pick up where we left off.
Yeah.
So, does time and our ability to manage our lives play a part in our friendships?
Oh, totally. I I had so many thoughts just going through my mind about this because I'm going to go back to the kids, but I'm going to bring it forward. So I was thinking about judgment because right now I just thought about this because I think Nova is just going into that friends compare themselves against each other, right? And who's better, who has hair that's something. I, there's the comparison. And then for sure, I know with Phoenix being in junior high and grade 9 now, that absolutely happens. And it's just so weird because again, from an adult perspective, you're like, bro, just shut up and sit down. You're an idiot. Like, but because we've lived this and we're on the other side, and I've actually gone through my brain and I forgot what it was like. And I thought about this week, like, hard, and not even about this episode. Like, it was just on my brain that I had to go back and think about judgment and what it was like to be in, like, middle school grade 6, for a girl especially, because boys don't really care as much. I think that okay, that's a blanket statement. I think things are changing. They didn't care as much, and I think there's a bit more now, but that's, I think, a whole other conversation. Not a bad one, but it actually, I do remember things, and I had a tough time, but I had decent friends. And so I have to, like, when it comes to relating to my kids and friends, they're so funny because even yesterday, and Nova never says this because she's just, like, in that stage where she's like, screw you, mom. She honestly is. But she had a friend over yesterday after school, and both of them were like, Mom, all my friends think you're just the coolest. And I'm like, I am. Just ask me. Like, seriously. Honestly, what are you even thinking? I am cool. It took me this long to get cool, but um but it's so funny. Um because even then, like, I'm not friends with their moms, like, we know each other's names, but um even that kind of comparison. I'm like, well, it's funny because Nova definitely doesn't think I'm cool. Like, she's, like, so the opposite, but I think deep down she's like, my mom is so cool because she's so chill.
Is that wishful thinking?
I actually think she's starting to see the
Mhm.
difference in, like, in actual chillness because, I mean, I'm not a gentle parent by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm an understanding parent.
It's I would agree with that.
Yeah. And I'm more willing to meet them where they're at because sometimes I do remember. And I remember being the little weirdo.
I was gonna say, like, if I'm thinking back that long ago, when I first moved to Okotoks, it was a tough transition for me, and I moved here in grade 8. So the friends that I had growing up were nothing like the friends that I met out here, and it took me a while
Mhm.
to create those connections. And I mean, a lot of those girls I still talk to today.
Yes.
Like
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
we went for Mexican last week. It was great.
Yeah.
And because we have people who move around different sites, I always tell people, give it 6 months. And it does. It takes about 6 months to develop that, like, foundation where it's more than just, hey, how's the weather? Oh, what'd you do on days off?
Yeah. Same thing as last time. It's like Pinky and the Brain. What are we gonna do today,
Take
Pinky?
over the world.
Try to take over the world. That's
Mhm.
that's what it feels like. It's just the same thing, Groundhog Day, right?
Mhm.
Um, so that was gonna bring me up to the point of comparison to your friends as an adult. Because I know that I have totally done that. And you know what? I have to say, COVID really messed with me. It really messed with me. And I sort of realized it in the time, but then not at the same time because we were forced apart, blah, 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 and the bullshit of COVID. Okay. But I know I wasn't the only one because this friend group and I have actually talked about this. We actually all felt like each other did not like each other because we just weren't talking. And it was, we couldn't see each other. So there wasn't the get togethers or the, wine night or whatever. And so it, we sort of all fell into this weird, like, oh, they don't like me because of this. And you create these stupid ass stories in your head that, let's be real, they're your stories, but they're brutal. They're
Oh,
brutal.
the things that we can convince ourselves of, right?
Yeah. So do you experience that with any friends, like, just, like, your own thoughts of, like, "Oh, we haven't talked. This person must be mad at me." Or I I don't experience it as much now, but COVID messed with me.
Where I really felt that was when I was transitioning between, like, when I got laid off
Mm,
and I could no longer afford to go out, and I was going through something and didn't know how to express my feelings and didn't wanna share that shame that I felt. So, it was a self-isolation.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%. I had a light bulb moment there. Yeah, totally.
Where sometimes when we're going through something, we need those connections and have no idea to be like, "Help,
Yeah.
help, I need
I
help."
help you.
Right. You're always there, you know me.
Yeah.
You were my first stop on my way home that day when I got laid off, so, um,
Mm,
but it's difficult when you're going through something and don't know how to open yourself up to that because it's being super vulnerable, and being vulnerable with anyone is not how we live life.
yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. Do you know what's so interesting? You just like that light bulb just like it just like lit up the whole room for me because like friendships are weird, man. They can be so weird. They're such an intricate web because I mean again, different perspective from the mom, but you may have experienced with or know people who have experienced this that as soon as you have kids or if you're the first one in your friend group to have a kid or get married, what changes? How many women say they lost all their friends?
Or I'll turn that one around. Be the only woman in your friend group who doesn't have
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah, totally.
right? Where I mean, I
See?
have phenomenal friends where I go to the zoo and I go to Heritage Park and,
Yeah, you get
like,
to do all the things
I
and
get to
live
do
through us and not take the kids home to put to bed or feed.
I really do have the best life, best of all worlds. However, it was me who still fostered those relationships.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
well, it came from both of us. It wasn't just one-sided, where I understood the importance of you're still an adult woman who needs to have this connection with another adult woman and not just watch Bubble Guppies or whatever that show is.
What time is it?
Never gonna say that.
It's time for lunch.
Brought to you by
Thank you, Treehouse. Yeah, okay, but see, that's so great because yeah, you are
but
offering the complete opposite perspective,
and, like, if I think back to elementary and junior high, if there was a new student, I couldn't wait to go and be their friend
right?
and wait to and it's really transitioned, like, throughout my life where even I have a new person outside and I'm like, "Hey, like, how's it going? Like, let's make you feel welcome."
Yeah.
And it stems back to me not feeling welcome, and I don't want other people to feel that way. So, it's life lessons that I've learned along the way, and I've put in my little basket and be like, "Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I generally like people. I love people. So, how do I make people feel like they're loved?"
Yeah.
And really, that's my whole role in life, I think. And I don't always do a good job. I'm sorry, I don't.
Nobody does, right? It's that moon cycle shit. Woo, woo. Be my friend, don't be my friend. Be my friend, don't be my friend. You know? Yeah, it happens. There's so many things firing in my brain, honestly, because you also just made me think about friends who have an agenda. And so the people that we continue to hang out with, and we all do it, uh, and then we know that, okay, if you do this, or if you do the work, you know that the relationship is in service for them, not for you.
And absolutely, those type of relationships are always gonna be in our preview. Is that the word? What it comes down to is recognizing it and either accepting that person for who they are or not accepting that and walking away from the relationship, or staying with it because you still cherish them for who they
Mhm.
are.
And this is a very interesting one for me because I've had this conversation or experienced this conversation like with other people. And there's some really interesting perspectives around it because again, I'm going to use the almighty word boundaries, right? People when we have people in our lives where they're like, "Oh, do you want to go out for lunch?" and you know that you're going to feel more drained after the interaction than going in. Now, typically, it's easy to say, oh, well, you just shouldn't go to that. But for some reason, there's something that keeps you in that relationship. We all experience this. And we often label them as toxic. But is that even a right title? Because what keeps us going back? And I mean, I'm going down a different tangent. However, there's a reason. There's always a reason those relationships or those friendships are in your life. And there are obviously ways to protect yourself so that you know exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get the person who is talking about the exact same things that they've been talking about for the past 5 years. They're always going to be the person who life is happening to them instead of them shaping life for themselves. And we all have that friend. We all do. Yet we keep going back.
Because we're remembering the times that wasn't in our view, right? We're going back to
Take my
man,
hand. Let me guide you out of this.
man, we had some good times together. Oh yeah, this was a good reminiscing about the good days gone by and still trying to recreate those moments where sometimes we have friends that are staying stagnant and some that grow along with you. And sometimes those ones that are just staying stagnant, eventually it's there's still lots of love in your heart for them, but they're not serving a this is going to sound awful, but they're not serving a purpose anymore.
And it's funny because I was just going to say the complete opposite because somewhere in there, everything happens and is in your life for a reason and a purpose and it serves me, right? It's in there somewhere and like that's the reason we keep going back for that
And you know what?
coffee or that lunch.
And when that person who hasn't done the growing or you label as toxic and just drains your energy, it's most likely because they need that boost in they need that boost in energy. They need that positivity. They need that someone to talk to, someone who relates to the situation that they're continuing to go through. So how do you break that circle?
Well, I actually don't think you do, to be honest. Um, it's a tough one. It's a really tough one, right? Because you can label it toxic and just be like, I'm done. Right? We all have a line. We all have a line.
I think that word toxic is so overused to dismiss
Boundaries and toxicity.
No, just hear me out. Just hear me out.
Oh, I'm hearing you. I'm with you.
Where we use that word so often to describe something that has nothing to do with that other person.
Yep.
It has everything to do with where we're at, and it isn't serving us. So we label it as toxic.
That's all labels are.
So those toxic relationships aren't necessarily toxic. Like that other person isn't, well, sometimes they go out of their way to do harm, but
Yeah.
that's not typically how people show up, especially to their friends.
Right. And so in those moments, like this is my call to action for everybody because it's tough is in those relationships, in those moments when you're thinking, man, I need to put up my invisible boundary here and label this as toxic and go, okay, what's the reflection? Let's sing Michael Jackson. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Okay, what's the reflection? Honestly, what is it showing you? What is the service that having that relationship is showing you? And honestly, do the work. And if it is in fact like so bodunk that you're like, boy, you got to go, then do it. Like that is okay to do. But walking around, again, I'm not gonna go down the boundaries and F your boundaries again. But if you put these things up, then you have to have the awareness that it's within you. And you cannot expect everyone else to know and understand what is within you when you're just slapping labels on everything.
So that's easier said than done,
Oh, absolutely.
especially in our society today with social media and the way that we are so busy and don't have that connection, the time for connection, where we're already feeling alone and isolated. We're not willing to draw people out of our lives.
That's true. This is not related, but I really want to bring it up because this goes back to us talking about like adults, kids, and social media. You just brought it up. So I really want to say something because it was so interesting to me and so refreshing, I have to say. Because as you know, my kiddos are in 4-H and we have public speaking.
Mhm.
And they did their public speaking and Nova did another one. And there was more kids in this one and some really incredible topics. And so cool to be offered from a youth perspective, because as an adult perspective, it is just like so not the same. And so, long story short, there were two kids that were tied. And when you're tied, you do an impromptu speech, and it has to be on the same topic. And so they don't get to listen to the other kids speak. So then it was actually a boy and a girl, which was fabulous for this because their topic was gender equality in sports. And the adults, there was like a visible, what kind of topic is this in the room? There was like a, where is this going? Like,
Oh boy.
oh my God. Because we clearly have a very adult perspective on this.
And outside influences coming in, right?
And that's it. What they talked about was so refreshing. It was like, so the young man spoke about, he wanted gender equality in sports, but it was because the WNBA, the women, weren't having large audiences, and he didn't think that was fair. So he thought the NBA should give them some fans. So that was his perspective. And the
sweet.
young ladies was that she didn't like what some of the women had to wear in sports. And so it was like volleyball, I think, was really what it was.
Yeah,
with the short shorts and the tank tops and the exposure, right? And so it was so cool. And I just think that sort of ties in with like, we have such a different perspective as adults.
Well, we go in there with our minds already made up before we even hear a perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. We do. Is it that time?
It is.
Not time for lunch. I need to make a jingle about pantry confessions. What time is it? It's pantry confession time.
I'm gonna let you read it today.
Oh, you're gonna let me read it. Okay. Okay. Okay.
And do send these in to our producer.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we really, really, really want you to send these things in. And they don't even have to be like this. You could just like share a funny story, your thoughts, moments of real life, funny, vulnerable, complicated. We'll just pick you apart. That's all.
No, we will not.
No, we won't. I'm just kidding. Take a joke, bro. Take a joke. Okay. Okay, pick a number. 1, 2, 3.
Let's go number 2.
All right. I had a rare free afternoon, and instead of feeling grateful, I felt anxious. I've got a thing for that. I kept checking my phone, refreshing emails, looking for something to respond to. It made me realize how uncomfortable I am when no one needs me. I don't think I miss the work. I think I miss the validation. What do you think of that?
What do I think of that? I think that in the world that we live in today, where we have something constantly coming at us 100% of the time, that when we don't, and we're like, whoa, what am I missing? Like, we don't know how to relax unless it's on a beach, drinking a margarita.
Totally go to the beach. How about
But-
that validation piece?
Well, the validation piece is the more you do, the more important you are.
Yeah.
I don't look at life that way. You want to do it? Okay, give her.
Yeah.
I like my relaxing time. I like having lots of downtime. I have that luxury though, right? We've discussed this. I have lots of spare time.
It's super interesting because I mean, yeah, I have learned to lean into spare time. I'm digging it, man.
Yeah. Tell me about your spare time. How many hours a day do you have spare time?
Let's not talk about that.
Okay.
It's not a lot, but my classes are a little lighter right now. So I legit thought today was Thursday last night, and I was like hustling to get some stuff done, and I was like, wait a minute, today's Wednesday.
I have another full day.
I was like, what? This is the greatest thing ever. Now don't get me wrong. I still cannot just like sit down on the couch and turn on Maury or anything or Dr. Phil and get some therapy. But I I mostly just like clean my house when I've got free time because I've discovered that cleaning my house actually frees my mind. I have to, like, if I just like look around and see the clutter everywhere, I'm just like, oh, I don't like it. But the validation piece, you need to do some inner work, man, because we're so used to everything's external. Everything is external and it's instant validation of things. Like if we had something to look up right now, we would say, hey, Sarah, could you look this up right now? And she'd be like, yeah. And she'd make it appear on this thing. That's instant validation.
Which is all over our world. Our communication is instant. Like, there's this guy who has been reading his grandparents' letters back and forth during the war.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so he really
That would probably make me cry.
really wants to like bring back handwritten letter.
Wait, is this a book?
He's turning it into a book. Yeah.
Okay, I've heard about this.
So, and I just think it's a really interesting. Like, it's so cool because, like, imagine waiting. You wrote a letter, sat down, and actually like hand wrote a letter. Took the time, went to the mailbox, dropped it off, put a stamp on it. Had to wait,
bro,
for it to go 2 weeks to get to its destination. And then when they had time, and if you're lucky, it was right away. And then wait for another 2 weeks to get this letter back.
Okay, literally, okay, that's a long ass time ago. But
I would forget what I wrote in the first place. Like,
but that was the fun of it. Because do you know, because you know me, I never had a phone. I did not have a phone until I was into I was already married, bro, when I had a phone, a cell phone.
It's true, like, she did.
And I didn't pay for it, man. My cousin paid for it because I was like, nope on a rope, not happening, not doing it. And so my cousin paid for my phone.
Yeah, Steph in culinary school did not have a cell phone.
So
Never.
The point that I'm getting to about these letters is that when Arthur and I met, he lived in Vancouver and we wrote letters.
Oh.
Yeah, we did. There was no instant gratification. There was no validation, but he loved me so much. But that's so fun. I gotta go find those.
You know what?
I'm gonna go read my old love letters. There was probably some weird shit in there.
Don't let the kids read it.
Okay, we went like way off. Okay, how do you relax? Like legitimately. I know it's different for you. How do we relax? And actually lean into the fact that we have a free afternoon and make it okay. It is okay.
So how I switched my mindset because it had like this. I didn't come over this. I didn't come to this overnight.
No.
This has been a long time coming. Many, many hours of work and thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. And
It's been a lot.
yeah, it's a lot. This has not come overnight
Mm.
where I'm like, yeah, you know what? I just chill when I want to, or I schedule my time.
You know, that makes me really uncomfortable.
It makes a lot of people uncomfortable because I have a father who the background that he has is very task driven. They wake up to a certain time, they all ate at the same time.
Mm.
Like it was very regimented and routine, and every single moment of his day was laid out. And that's how I grew up.
Mhm.
And if I wasn't doing anything, there was something wrong with me. I was being lazy.
Right? And isn't it so it's funny, not funny, because my dad did not obviously have the same background, but he worked until he couldn't.
Until he
And
couldn't.
then, oh, oh, then he said, "You make sure you don't work all the time."
No, you need to take those times and make those memories memorable with
Yeah.
those that you love. Foster those friendships, foster those relationships with your family. You know what? Go through your phone. Someone who you love dearly in your phone, give them a call.
Yeah.
Who you haven't talked to in a while.
Yeah. So, when you have that moment in the afternoon,
Make connections.
definitely phone someone. Phone
Mhm.
someone because it's later than you think.
You got it. Anyway,
I love you.
I love you so much. Bye, guys.